Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. I see people coming in the room. I know it takes a moment for everybody to get situated here, so we'll get started here in just a few seconds. You are at the AICA community meeting. We're really excited to see so many people coming into the room to join us today. Before we get started, you can ask questions. You should see a Q&A box there. I also think I think the chat works. I did mean to, have that so everybody could put questions there as well. Either way works. But yeah, we're going to get started here in a moment. Really excited. We've got kind of a packed agenda here. We have a very special guest. We're really, really thrilled to be announcing our partnership with the Future of Higher Education. So we have one of the co-founders from that organization with us today. And my name's Emily Pacheco. I am one of the founders of the AI in college admission community. We have one of our other leaders with us today. We have Jasmine Solomon as well. Myra Castro and Sebastian Brown are also part of our leadership team as well. And I think they're joining us in the audience. They might say hi as well. Just as a reminder who we are, the AI in college admission community, we are a group of almost 3,000 members, and these are kind of the pillars of our organization, really focused on ethical usage of technology, specifically artificial intelligence, throughout the admission process. So this is from everything from the very beginning of students beginning that search until they end up in that student desk, and even beyond. We're looking at how AI is being used within higher education, and really focusing on that admission enrollment process. And that's really the focus of our organization. So I'm going to pass it over to Jasmine to give you a little bit more information about what we've done and how far we've come in this last year.
Thanks, Emily. So yeah, our group is really growing strong. We're at over 2,900 members. And if you can go ahead and click Emily to advance. Thank you. And so our events from last year, from 2025, we supported over 1,000 attendees coming to join us across virtual events and in-person opportunities at a conference. And for our international reach, we have our members are out in the world, they're presenting and really shaping and influencing the conversation around the AI and college admissions narrative. And let's dive a little bit deeper into our members and who they are. And so this is a little bit of a picture of the industries that we represent. This is according to our LinkedIn profile, so it's as accurate as the companies and information you keep there. But you'll see that the majority of us are in higher education or more broadly in primary or secondary education for education administration. And we also have folks who are on the consulting side, on the ed tech side, nonprofits, and some others. A lot of those others are going to be our IECs, who are the independent education consultants serving students in that way. And no one organization has over 1% membership, which is something we're really proud of, that we do have a broad reach and we're reaching people across the industry in different organizations. And through LinkedIn, our group is really active and it's consistently growing. And keeping that active status is something that makes sure that our work, our mission remains in the spotlight. So if you haven't already, please consider joining the conversation. Instead of passively engaging with our group, post, comment, share, and participate in our polls. Our polls are a great way for you to take a moment and just contribute and share the narrative about what you're thinking and where your head is at in the college admissions space. And that leads us into our reach. And so, like I mentioned, we're not just following the conversation, we're leading it. We are hosting events. And our events are spaces where practitioners can gather. You can go ahead and click to advance, Emily. And so we're hosting our events for our practitioners. We have curated resources on our website where this includes a living calendar of industry events related to AI and college admissions. And we also have learning resources for wherever you're at in your AI journey so you can upskill. And lastly, our speakers and leaders, our members are the ones who are taking the stage, who are being interviewed by the media and are really thought leaders in this space. And so we want to make sure that the community is joining us in the conversation, sharing your perspective so that then it can inform what we're sharing out publicly as our members, as our leaders, as our advisory board is out in the world and really living at this intersection of AI and access in higher education. Thanks, Emily. I'll give it back to you.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks a lot, Jasmine, for putting all that together. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm really excited because we have recently partnered with another really incredible organization that's a lot bigger than we are and that's been around a lot longer. And I've learned a lot of things about how to run a community and how to grow a community from Ray, who is here today, because he's done this so well with the future of higher education. And the future of higher education is a community organization that's their mission is to accelerate innovation and excellence across post-secondary education. So, it just aligns so well with what we're doing at AICA. So, as I mentioned, we have Ray with us today, and he's going to be able to share a little bit about the organization and a little bit about our partnership, and we're gonna talk together. And if you again, if you have any questions about FOHE or questions about that you'd like to hear Ray talk about, feel free to add those to the chat as we go. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Ray.
Awesome. Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you, Emily. And thanks everyone for joining today. My name is Ray Batra. As Emily mentioned, I'm one of the co-founders of Future of Higher Ed, what we call FOHE for short. I guess it's a sort of funny acronym, but that's what it is for now. Um, I'm super excited to be here, super excited for the partnership. Just to give everyone a little context, both about myself, but really about the organization. I've had the privilege to wear a number of different hats across the higher education, ed tech, and innovation space ever since in education reform, ever since back I was even in high school, and across nonprofits, for-profits, working within universities and also outside of them and also having built companies and other organizations. So I Future of Higher Ed began several years ago, actually, maybe 6, 7 years ago. And essentially at the time, we began with a small gathering of about roughly a dozen people who were got together at an Airbnb in Detroit, Michigan, where I was based at the time. And the goal was to literally whiteboard the future of higher education. We wanted to basically connect outside of conferences and do that sort of thing. So we got together, we had an amazing weekend, and we wanted to stay in touch. So we started a Slack community, and that Slack community organically grew and grew and grew. Today, it's about 6,000 leaders from over 2,000 organizations, and I'm actually very much in awe, Emily, for you and your group, and Jasmine as well, to be able to have the reach you have so quickly, right? We've sort of taken many years to get there, but Future of Higher Ed is today the largest global community for practitioners, executives, and entrepreneurs focused on innovation in post-secondary education. And as Emily mentioned, our mission really, again, is how do we accelerate innovation and excellence across post-secondary education? So Emily, if you want to go ahead and move to the next slide. So my goal right now is to just give you a high-level overview of the different kind of value that we provide and the ways that members can benefit, and to give you a little bit more detail about that for this partnership. Basically, Future of Higher Ed is comprised of a wide range of stakeholders across the entire sector. The commonality between everybody in Future of Higher Ed and FOHE is that they are either currently or recently engaged in post-secondary innovation in some way, shape, or form, right? That could be at an admissions office, it could be starting a new company, it could be in the classroom or in a job training program. So sort of all over the space. We have, as I mentioned, over about 6,000 members, over 2,000 organizations, growing about 60% year over year right now. And Future of Higher Ed accomplishes our mission in two ways, right? One is we have a very vibrant Slack community online, right? So Slack is sort of our platform, which serves as essentially a digital town square for the sector. It's a lot of active conversations and sub communities within there. And this is AICA, our partnership with AICA is one sort of what we call a micro community. In addition to the Slack, we have active chapters, local chapters in 20 cities, mostly in the US, but a few of them international as well. On our Slack, we basically have a bunch of well, actually, let me take one step back. The three sort of ways in which we provide value. One is we help people stay informed about what's going on specifically in post-secondary innovation. So there's a lot of different ways that you'll get roundups and news and discussion. We also help people solve problems. So we have channels that are specifically dedicated for folks to ask for strategic advice and recommendations, or ask for vendor recommendations, or ask for introductions to XYZ organization. So that's a very tangible way that people get value from it. And then last but not least, to help professionals in the space stay connected, especially outside of conferences, right? So there's ways in which you can meet other colleagues directly in your space or adjacently to your space and build your network, right? And kind of lean on that. So within this, again, we have industry news and discussion. We have a very vibrant jobs board, whether you're hiring or whether you're on the market for new positions. We have this Asks channel. We have the local in-person events. We have monthly coffee hours virtually that typically draw about 150 to 250 leaders each month. And then we have these sub-channels and sub-communities as well. Next chapter. Yep. As I mentioned here, our demographics in a nutshell, right? About half of our audience are from the ed tech or private sector sort of space. We have roughly 20% of our audience are at 2 or 4 year institutions on the staff, administrator, or faculty side. And then we have about 10% more consultants in the space, and a long tail of everyone else, including investors, foundations, HR, L&D leaders, government, et cetera. And so I think as we think about this partnership and the ways that you can really benefit from it, when Emily and I talked about this, it was really about how can we provide you all, right, members of AICA, in some ways to almost like if you have a sub-community within FOHE's active online Slack channel, this is a way you can sort of kill two birds with one stone, for lack of a better term, where you can have a vibrant community focused specifically on AICA in the same platform where you can also keep track of everything else going on adjacently in the industry to connect and network with others, stay informed, solve problems, et cetera, et cetera. So that's where I think this hopefully can be most valuable for you all. In addition to your own sort of subspace for AICA members and others in future of higher ed who are also in admissions and enrollment, we are also going to be experimenting with feed two birds with one stone. I love it. I just saw that comment. We're also going to be setting up a way to virtually network and connect for one-on-one coffees for random matching within the AICA community and other admissions and enrollment professionals across future of higher ed. So that's also another great thing. I think that's pretty much it from the summary. Emily, is there anything else? Are we good to go there? I think we're good.
Yeah, no, I think I think you did a great job in summarizing that. And I just had a couple questions for you right here.
Sure.
You had been operating a long time without these micro communities. It was just kind of a bigger thing. You did have channels within the Slack, but I'm kind of curious, and I know this would be great for my audience as well as how did you decide to kind of, to do these kind of micro communities,
Yeah.
and do you have intentions to do more of them?
Yes. Well, I will say it came out of having a good problem to have, and that good problem is we heard a lot of feedback from people that the FOHE community has grown in activity year over year to a point where in some cases it's almost too active for some people, and there's just a lot going on in there. And so the idea of a micro community largely came out of a is now it's an experiment, it's a test for us to solve that problem, to be able to create private subspaces that are focused really on serving specifically the needs of quite specific member types and sort of personas, so to speak, to be able. The goal is that if a future higher ed member is a part of a micro community, of which we're testing 3 of them right now, that you can really focus on that space to not get overwhelmed within the broader community. While at the same time, if you have the interest and the time to periodically check other news roundups and other activities across the rest of the channel, you can, and hopefully get a lot of value from that. But it's really to, again, curate. Curation is really the most helpful thing, I think, among lots of other activity going on. So it's a good problem to have because many times online Slack communities are kind of dead, and we don't have that problem. And then to answer your question, yes, we do plan to, assuming that the rest of this goes quite well, and we've had some really good things so far, we'll be introducing more of these for other types of members within future of higher ed. We could have 10, 20, 30 or more of these at some point.
Mhm. And I always like our webinars to be really practical. And I think you kind of already said this, but again, people that want to get involved with FOHE and are excited today about, wow, this sounds like a great organization. What can I do? Like, what steps would you encourage kind of that they get off this call and what do they do next?
Yes. So if you would like to jump in, we would encourage you. You can just go to our website, which is I think somebody posted in the chat, but it's www.fohe.org. So fohe.org. And it's a very bare bones website at the moment, but we're redoing it right now. And just hit the button that says request an invite or request to join, I forget. And there's a fairly straightforward brief form. Fill that out, and we process that, in the coming days. And when you join the Future of Higher Ed community, you should receive a both an onboarding sequence of a few emails as well as a message from us as the founders on Slack. And I would strongly encourage everyone who's here, in order to get the most value out of joining the Future of Higher Ed community, we do offer 15-minute orientation calls where we go into more depth and detail about how to use Slack, how to get value from it. Um, that's every Monday at 11 p.m. Eastern time. And when you join, you'll get a note that explains this. But yeah, sign up for an orientation call. That'll help you show the ins and outs and the details of where you can really plug in, and jump in the conversation. Don't be shy. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll share how I got, what I did after I joined. I mean, the Slack channel, it was so eye-opening to me. We all kind of are in our own little niche, and we surround ourselves by, the tend to surround ourselves by the people within our own, that little profession. I had no idea there was such a big world out there of the future of higher education, and so many different roles that were so adjacent to mine and really tied to college admission and enrollment. So that's what I really discovered through that Slack channel, seeing the introductions from the new people. I love how when people join the group, you put a little introduction of who you are. And it's
Hmm.
so fun. Every week I go through those and just kind of and find people that I network with. I've met more people through this organization than really the only other place that it has networking this good is at conferences. You go to a conference and you can do it. I can jump on Slack every week. And just yesterday I reached out to two people. I'll be talking with one of them next week. It's just made it so I can do so much more with a wider group of people professionally. And that's been really, really excited. And I will, put a plug for the in-person
I was
events
about
as
to
well.
say, yeah, yeah, yeah. I almost forgot about that. But if you happen to be near one of our metro areas, and we will be launching new chapters as well. But out of one of those 20 cities, they generally hold at least quarterly events. We're blessed to have Emily as actually one of the co-leads for the Bay Area as well, to do in-person events in the San Francisco Bay Area. But that is also where many FOHE members get a ton of value, is from the actual in-person connections, events, and those types of things. So would strongly recommend checking those out as well.
Yeah, so I saw Sebastian Brown, who's one of our co-founders, is in the room. He's the one that's adding that, adding some links there. And he recently joined FOHE, and he attended the first San Diego event that that they had down there. And I think that's a newer chapter. It was a small group, and he
Mhm.
loved it. He just really raved about it afterwards, and actually, was just like, thanks so much for, for helping him find this organization. And I've taken part in a number of San Francisco events, and I'm actually the co-lead for the San Francisco. I obviously like this organization a lot. I'm helping to lead the events in San Francisco as well. And we just had one last week, and it was so exciting. It was at the Salesforce building, and we had 50 people about 40 to 50 people who showed up throughout the evening. And it was just an amazing opportunity to connect. And we are working on, our first in-person kind of themed event in April as well. And so I actually found a space for that. We're going to do that at the end of April. So these are really great opportunities for people to meet in person. But we also want to do virtual events because there are people, part of this micro community that are all spread out. So, I've been working with Jasmine 2 years now, and we do almost everything virtual. We've only met in person once or twice, but we put on amazing events, and we're going to do that again, in conjunction with this community. So stay tuned, for those events as well. But yeah, thank you, Ray. I think I really
I
appreciate you
think that's
being on.
everything. Yeah, I think if there's anything else, I guess I will explain one more thing here, which is I mentioned briefly that we use a tool basically to facilitate one-on-one connections between people. We have one option for folks to get randomly matched monthly across our entire community. So if you're interested in meeting others who are a little bit outside of your space, but still hopefully relevant, that's one option. But then specifically for this micro community, there is we're using the same tool, but for folks specifically in admissions and enrollment for this micro community, again, to be matched virtually one-on-one once a month. You have the option, if you get busy for a couple of months, to pause it, right? So you don't have to get overwhelmed. But that's also a great way to get connected with other colleagues across the industry, nationally, globally, wherever they may be. So I'd check that out as well. I think we'll make an announcement in the micro community channel pretty soon about that.
Yeah, yeah, and I think, I mean, Ray, correct me if I'm wrong there. Will it just, I mean, I've seen that already in mine, but maybe that's because you opted me in. But I think people are, I mean, it's a suggestion, it says, hey, this person looks like somebody that might be of interest to you. We've been laughing, Ray, among our leaders because it's recommending each other. It's like,
Right,
hey,
right, that's
Jasmine and Emily, you two,
right, 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 right.
seem like you might have something in common. Do you guys want to chat?
That's
So yeah,
so
we've said
we
yes, and we've started a few interesting conversations.
it'll once we again after this point when we open it up to everyone else and start to have like right now that has that specific tool was just open, I think, Emily, to the four of us as like a mini test. But once we open it to everybody else, then they'll get the connections, not us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I
Okay.
just think that's a really great advantage of this organization are those, incredible virtual, most of us are working virtually remotely. It's not as easy always to have a coffee with somebody. And this really has helped me find, virtual coffees since I joined. So thank
Thank
you.
you.
Anything else, Ray?
That's it for me.
Awesome. So
Everyone feel free if you have any questions, or I'll put my email in case anybody has any specific challenges. Um, and then you can also find me on LinkedIn or whatever if you'd like. But I look forward to hopefully meeting many of you in the future, either virtually or in person.
and hope to see them on Slack, right? Like, if
Yes,
you
yes, yes,
are
yes.
if you're new
Yeah,
to Slack and you're like, "Ooh, I haven't tried that yet." I know it's a little bit overwhelming, but I definitely recommend jumping in. There's a
Oh,
number of great channels.
sorry, there is one I do want to. So somebody just asked about recommending joining as a high school counselor. So this is an important point. So in terms of future of higher ed, if we welcome anyone who is anywhere at the intersection of K-12 to post-secondary, all the way up to workforce development, corporate learning, lifelong learning, and anything in between. So given that for those of you that are doing work in admissions, we do consider that to be at the intersection, right, of K-12 and post-secondary. Um, Again, the main thing is, and given that you're in this community, you obviously have an interest in innovation and AI, specifically. Just, I would recommend make a note of that when you do apply, just that you have some clear tie to that you're trying to push your sector forward in some way, right? Like Future of Higher Ed is intended to be a community for not just observers about the space, but for people who are participants in some particular way, with a tie to pushing their field forward, to pushing the future of post-secondary education, if that makes sense. Just make
Yeah.
that clear.
Ray, would
Yeah.
it help if they mentioned that they were a member of AICA? I mean, I
Yep.
would.
Mention you're a member of
Yeah.
AICA,
Yeah, I
and
think
anything
that
else
would
there.
be
Yeah.
good to put on your application because you're
Yeah.
all here because we are that's what
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
mission is. But I think that would be a
Yeah.
helpful thing to put. Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot, Ray. A few more minutes here. I just want to quickly share a couple. We're looking for a few people to join us in a more in a deeper way and participate in our community. So we had a few volunteer roles open. Jasmine, I'm going to let you talk about the first one here.
Sure. So being our website manager is really just about keeping our Squarespace up to date. So if you have familiarity with the Squarespace platform, or just with managing a website in general, it would be wonderful. I will very freely admit that I have never had a marketing background. And so if you look at our website and you're like, wow, that's a lot of text. Come help us make it look better, make it look more engaging. I am an operations person. I'm very good at getting accurate text on a site, but not the best at making it beautiful and improving the user experience and design. So we would love someone to come on board and support our website.
I bet you there's somebody out there who wants to vibe code our new website. Here
I
you
bet
go,
there
guys. This is a
is.
great, a great test case. You could use Claude Code.
Yes,
You could create a new website. We
yes.
also have two additional roles that we're looking to fill. And there are roles beyond this. If you are interested in helping or doing something with us, we would love to have you, to participate. It doesn't have to be, hours every week. It can be really minimal. You could help with one project. And we really would be looking for you in terms of your strengths and, where your skill set. But these are three kind of opportunities that we really have, highlighted if you're not quite sure where to get started and one of these really speaks to you. We started this a learning circle and we did our third one, I believe it was, with Shireen and I have been doing that. So we have an hour. We're trying to do it monthly, and it's a hands-on opportunity for people to kind of jump in and really ideally walk away with something to try, with examples of what's going on in a professional setting with AI, how it's being used today. So if that's something that interests you, you don't need to be an expert. It's actually better if you're not. A lot of people come and they're very intimidated by experts. So we're looking for people who are just like, hey, I want to get better at this. I'm trying to use this more in my daily work. And this would be a great way to encourage that, because this would kind of give you an opportunity to share what you're doing in your day-to-day work, or share your struggles about how it's hard, to find ways to use it, and how you explore, how you look for new ways to use it. And then the third opportunity we have, the community connector. So this launching with FOHE, keeping that Slack channel active and keeping, I said we put FOHE here, but it's also our LinkedIn community. Just keeping our community active really takes a lot of time. And I think for most of you that have spent any time on LinkedIn, you probably see mostly me posting, and Jasmine helps as well. And we get a few additional posts there. But we encourage everybody to post, and that's an easy way to participate, even in a very informal way. But if you could, interested in doing a little bit more, we'd love somebody to be a facilitator on our Slack channel, just to keep the conversation going. So it's keep thinking of, topics to post there and looking for articles, that we can share with the community. So, those are a few opportunities, but really, if you're ready to get involved, if you are interested in participating, now we have message us on Slack. So join the FOHE channel and you can message us there. But if that's not your thing, or you're not there yet, you can email us. We'd just love to hear from you, or even on LinkedIn. I'm connected with many of you there. Feel free to just, to send me a message there if you want to get involved. I can jump on a call with you and talk about, what you're good at and where you might fit in. Anything else, Jasmine, that you want to add about that?
Yeah, just one quick thing. I just want to highlight that Sebastian, who has been curating our newsletter for over a year, also dropped in the chat that he would love help with that. So maybe you're not a website person, but you have other marketing strengths and you would like to contribute to the development of our newsletter. We'd love to have you in that area as well.
Yeah, definite shout out to Sebastian. If you receive that newsletter, that's the work that he's putting into that each month, and we're always looking for topics and stories there. So if you have something you're working on that you want to share with our community, let us know as well. We've got a few upcoming events. Just want to quickly highlight before we say goodbye here that we're inviting Jeff Neal back. I'm so excited. We haven't heard from him for a while. I call him like the counselor rock star in the AI in college admission world. He's just been using it longer than most people. He jumped right in and he's been speaking on the topic. He's done hundreds of presentations. So he's going to come back and tell us the latest on what he's doing in his classroom. And then we're also going to have it on the other side of the desk. We're going to hear from Juan Espinosa. I'm presenting with him several times this year, including coming up. We're presenting at the American Association of Veterinary Medicine. So I'm pretty excited about that, talking about how Virginia Tech is using AI as one of their readers. And that is just so interesting, such a kind of can be controversial in some circles. So it's exciting to have a leader such as Juan who can tell us about their experience, and how they made that work. And here they are now, they're like deep into that, they've used this reader this last admission cycle. And so they're going to have those results as well to share with us. So register for all of our events. We've also got a great calendar that's bigger than just our events on our website. I really like to highlight that. I find 1 to 3 events that I attend every week. That is the broader AI in education, anything to do with education in AI, even technology, we kind of broaden it out even. And if you have events, we'd love to add them there as well. So thank you. Thank you to my co-leaders, Jasmine, who's here today, and to the other 2 who are off screen, who do so much to, keep this community going and keep it growing. Please spread the word. We're so close to 3,000 members, and I'm just so close, just inching towards it. I really think this partnership is going to do that because we're doing a similar webinar like this on March 23rd for the FOHE community. So that one's going to have, he's got Ray's community has over 6,000 people. So we're going to be introducing ourselves to them as well. So thank you to all of you for being our community because we don't have a community without you. You are a vital part of that. We want to hear your voices and we'd love to hear, to have you be more of a part of this as well. Thanks for joining us this morning on this beautiful March day, and we hope to see you at our next events. Take care. Bye-bye.